I've seen the future.
Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid and welcome to the Universal Energy Forecast, the Oracle Card Forecast, a prescription for how do we deal with the energies that are affecting everybody right now. And this is the week of November 14th. Now, I'm going to read from the guidebook today a little bit, and the reason being is that I want you guys to really understand how the cards work, how you can interpret them. I'm actually starting an Oracle school for those of you who have been writing in saying, I'm feeling uncertain, I'm feeling like I really don't know where I'm going, etc. So I'm putting this together for the spring of 2017 so you can learn how to make these Oracle cards your best friends. So I, right now, am going to show you how we can apply what the cards are saying to the energy that everybody's going to be affected by this week. And we've got to admit, I did a weekend reading and you saw what we talked about chaos and conflict and the importance of that as we make these giant leaps and changes. When people are thinking that it's all going to be bad, you have to temper that this week. So the first cards, we have 4 cards, and I decided to use the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. 4 cards begin with Clean It Up. Now, the Clean It Up card, I just want you to understand what the main focus of it is. It says getting to the core of a situation. Freedom from a burden, cleaning house, and sweeping away what is no longer needed. So here's the thing. There was a great video that I saw this week by Russell Brand. Some of you think he's very controversial, but it was very poignant. And he underlined something that I want you to remember, that everything that's going on right now, our current conditions, were set in motion in the past. So what we're seeing right now is not something that just happened because of one evening or one situation that occurred just randomly because either people didn't vote or whatever, and I'm going to bring the election into it because people are still talking about it and it affects everybody in every country. So it's more about seeing the conditions of your life as a result of a long process of thinking, a particular mindset, and also the disillusionment of a number of people in yourself and in you. Remember, we are all one. So something has occurred in every single person where we feel uncertain about the future. We feel that we have a burden that is not ours, but we don't know what to do with it. And we feel disenchanted, disempowered, etc. At some level, there's a sense of that old mindset of disconnection, which now we're seeing the shadow of that. So I'm going to say to you what Clean It Up, the core of the situation, has nothing to do with one person or a group of people that did or did not do something recently. It is a result of a period of time that has accumulated. So for example, when the caterpillar sees that it could be a butterfly, remember the horrifying nightmare that has to happen to the caterpillar before it gets to become a butterfly, where the shadowy pieces of itself that keeps it a caterpillar, and I call it the shadowy pieces, but the pieces that are no longer necessary for that new growth dies off or has to die. So the caterpillar actually gets sick when it's in the larva and as it becomes a larva and a pupa. So when it's in that cocoon, it's not feeling good, okay? It's feeling shitty. So I want us to remember that instead of like panicking and thinking that everything is going to be like it was in World War II or anything like that. We have to think differently right now. And so I'm going to come to you with an objective reading strictly about the energy. So when Clean It Up is there, so one of the things last week that I talked about actually in the weekend reading was about what happens when we hit anniversaries. And last week was the 78th anniversary of Kristallnacht in Germany, when my mom was there. And when some horrible thing, which if you know about history, you know that's when all the broken glass happened in Berlin and a lot of the Jewish people were taken into the camps. It was a horrible night. A lot of people did nothing about it, okay? So that was what was even more horrible. My mom was there. She told me about it when I was in my 20s. So when we think about history repeating itself, and Greg Braden's work talks about the choice point, that something comes back again. So we're seeing a mirror of 2 things. 1, like the 60s, the civil rights movement, and then 2, that. So Right now, people are overreacting and responding, and there's violence, and there's all kinds of things that need to be cleaned up. Because the core of this, the shadow of this, is a reminder of the things that we are familiar with. In our DNA, we know these things that could happen again, and we cannot allow that to happen again. And so now the clean it up is, how are you going to behave around these kind of opportunities when you come together with other people that don't share the same views? So at the core of this is that everybody deeply actually wants similar things, but there is a small group of people who are acting out of a sickness. So I'm going to call that the ego sickness that is causing the xenophobia and all the different things that, again, need to be cleaned up. If we are truly connected to all people, we have to come to a place where there is a common understanding. So right now we would think, oh my God, how can we have that? But we have to. And so that's part of what the clean it up is. Now, it's an interesting card next of milk and honey. And I know that these are just readings, so you're going, how do we do these things? But I'm just looking at the archetypal experience as to what's happening to everybody. The shadow is now shown. The parts of us that need to change has now been shown. It's been shown in a most terrible manner in some ways, but also there is not just hope, but there's a change. There's a big change, and nobody knows. That's why I wrote my book, Uncharted. We don't know what we don't know. So milk and honey is the next card. And it says the essential meaning of milk and honey, the taste of prosperity, opportunities born of authenticity, nurturing abundance, and trusting that your needs will be met. So remember, we've got lots of people that think everything is fantastic right now, and a lot of other people who are feeling very fearful and feeling their needs are not going to be met because A, they're seeing evidence that behavior has not yet been it has been allowed to happen. In a long time, we haven't seen these horrible things happening, as well as there's something that's potentially very good. So we don't know yet. We're in uncertainty. So our personal power, our personal authenticity is more important than anything else right now. What do we truly and honestly believe, and why? What brought us to this understanding of the world? Is this in the highest good for myself and my family and for others? Because we do not operate as separate from one another. As a matter of fact, what we're seeing is the shadow of separation. We're seeing all of that, the shadow of disconnection. And now we need to, at this stage in human history, because all of us are feeling that too, how do we feel that we have this connection so that we can continue to progress and not move backwards? So trusting your needs will be met, but also the taste of prosperity. Change always brings opportunities for growth, even if it comes in chaos. So you have to trust that you don't know the form in which your higher power wants you to experience your reality so that you can move into something better. Sometimes it gets worse before it gets better. So milk and honey is nurture what you feel is abundance. If you see somebody doing something wrong to someone else that is not in your alignment, don't hide in your house. Do something about it. If you feel like, I want to serve and this is how, go do that. Be a spiritual activist. This is what we are all being required to do. But do not act in retaliation and reactivity and being in a place where hate is met with more hate. Go back to what Gandhi did. Go back to some of the great leaders that have actually made real positive change, but it wasn't easy for them either. So trust this process that you are in, and what an amazing time it is for us all to be alive. So we're going through a little bit of a tweak, but trust that, there is an opportunity here. What is the opportunity here? This is an opportunity for me to help my fellow man. This could be an opportunity for people to say, let's just go back to actual America, because not all of you are Americans, but pretend you're an American, or you are when you're watching. And say you're the one that voted for Trump, because I actually have a lot of fans from both sides. So would it not be good, given that you don't believe in hate and violence, to go and maybe help the person who you're seeing that being done to, or try to be the bridge to the people who may be very deeply disappointed and scared, and suggest and help build the bridge. We need to be bridge builders now. So you must trust that your wants, radical acceptance, we have to work with what we have and then see. Not to be passive, but to act with authenticity. Now, of course, new life is in the protection position. So I'm going to read it from here too. So it's card 39, and it is in the protection position. I'm just going to look it up. Oh, that's not the right card. In the book. So where is it? If you hear some moving around, Sebastian is trying to hide inside one of my coats that's on the floor. Okay, so when new life is upright, it's the birth of new ideas, growth opportunities, and a breath of fresh air and life renewing itself. But it's in protection position. So this message, I'm going to read it right from the book. You must acknowledge your inexperience and gently allow yourself to be like the delicate new bud opening. It's okay to admit you may not know something. You are at the beginning of things and haven't hit your stride. Be immersed in the newness of it all and don't try to rush the learning process. Don't pretend to know what you don't know. History is being made right now. We have to co-create reality for the highest good, but don't assume you know what it is and don't assume you know what the next step is. It needs to be revealed to all of us as we stand in our truth, in our authenticity, in our honesty, and in our desire to be connected. So, new life has its own timetable for maturity. Be here now, and life loves you, even if you are that person who may be in a situation right now where you're feeling really scared. You've got to trust, and we have to rely now that other people who know better are also accountable and responsible to step in and help those who are in need and who are scared, who are suffering, and who want to know that they are part of and not disenfranchised by this. Now, this is really great. The last card is poised. This means we were ready. We were ready for this. The world was ready. The world was ready for what happened, Brexit, for Trump, for Trudeau, for Putin, for all of these things that are, because we are global citizens, and also ready for your personal choice for what is abundant to you, to create a life for yourself better than the one. That's why we're here. We're here as a result of years of a disconnection amongst peoples, amongst rich and poor, amongst literate and illiterate, amongst the haves and the have-nots. And the ones in between who are straddling both worlds have also been lost. So we have to remember this is a great chaos and conflict that's going to bring us eventually, if we are present and aware and honest and remembering what is the highest good. And I'm going to tell you something right now, the highest good is never hate. The highest good is never, ever, ever bigotry, bias, racism, sexism, ageism. Any of those isms is not. And I'm going to tell you, all the people that I know that made these votes, even for Brexit, my British friends, and the ones who voted for Trump, do not agree with these things. So you got to remember, not all people that supported those things are about the minority of people who are creating such chaos. Remember this. Now, the poised piece, the poised about community, is about being together. It's about being ready. Bringing something to light is what poised means. Being at your best and confidence. Now, let me tell you what this says. The Oracle message, think about this. You can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to. Your skills are sharp. You've come to this place with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People will respond to your confidence and trust you. It is an auspicious time to begin new things. So we know this is already auspicious. So that's why people come and use my cards, for example. Why I even use my cards, because they are a reflection of the truth that when we can go past our fear and our reactiveness, They tell us a story of a higher plan, the highest good, that we may not be able to access by ourselves. This is one of the reasons why I've created Oracle School to start in 2017, because I want people to be empowered. This is not about giving your power away to fortune telling. No way. This is all about seeing the highest good, understanding maybe when you are completely lost and you've lost your confidence and you think the world has gone to shit. All right, so this will help us, guide us into the, like we need a flashlight in the dark right now, some of us, and some of us think that we don't, but some of us do. And regardless of that, this is something that you can learn, I can provide for you weekly, that we have a little bit more insight and hope. I know that hope is a kind of a wishy-washy word. I want some hope, but you wanna know what? We need hope right now. So in order for us to be confident, first we gotta start with hope, and then we have to have courage. So be courageous right now. Refuse to buy into the anxiety and the fear, even when we know that there are certain things that are gonna have to take place in order to get to a place where we refuse them. We have to know that we were born to be here right now in this extraordinary choice point in humanity. As Greg Braden says, we are in a fractal time. This is a choice point in human history where we've made one choice. Now we have to act accordingly within that choice, and then we have to search our souls. And remember, this is not about the current conditions, it's about what made those current conditions. And that's where we have to focus. Why have we come here, and how can we bring our light into the world? So light workers, this is about you and me, taking that flashlight and going into the world in spite of the fear. Don't allow yourself to think that the world is over. Take that flashlight. Bring more love where there is no love. Bring understanding where there's a lack of understanding. Listen to the St. Francis Assisi prayer, because that's the one that we are going to be sending to you this week as my gift to you. I've gone on forever, so I'm going to say thank you again for coming here, listening every week. I love you all. Keep the faith. Don't just hand over your faith and think it's just going to happen. We're partners with Spirit. Remember that. But remember too that when we're acting out of fear, we are not connected. We're coming out of a survival method, and it's more separation. Stay connected even to the people who you feel are doing wrong. Love you guys. Take care. And if you like this video, share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. And I will, these days, boy, am I ever reading them, and I will answer them. Take care.
I've seen the future. It's beautiful.